Bomb! Batman, Dark Knight Returns. 1/12 Collective by Mezco Toys. This is commemorating the how he looked in the Dark Knight Returns graphic novel. Specifically books 1 and 2, because that's where he wore the blue and yellow version of the costume. Books 3 and 4 he wore the black and gray version, which I'll touch upon all that throughout the course of the review. But showing off the box here, it's a lot of sweet pictures of him on the back, different poses you can get, all the different accessories and props and stuff that it comes with. It's got a nice box, actually. I was really impressed. I didn't expect this to be as cool as it was, but you can see here that the clear plastic part slides off and you're left with a silhouette of Batman. And then the box itself has the lightning bolt on it, so you can recreate that iconic cover of the original comic book. And then open them up. You got your little plastic protecting thing here. There he is in there, looking all upset and angry and stuff. So here's Batman out of package, looking just as Frank Miller imagined him, I guess. Now, as I mentioned, this is based on the Dark Knight Returns graphic novel from 1986, which is probably before some of you were born. And I mentioned in particular that this is based on books 1 and 2. Here's a little comparison here. You can see that they got the coloration pretty well spot on as far as I'm concerned. Looks like they definitely referenced all the artwork in the original graphic novel to make this guy. There is also a black and gray version of this exact figure with the more classic Batman costume based on how he looked in the end of the book, but I don't have that one. I just picked this one up. This is the first Mezco thing that I've bought in a long time. I have 1 or 2 of the old Hellboy movie figures, which are really good, so that's what kind of gave me the courage to go ahead and just trust Mezco, because I'm like, well, they did a good job with those all that time ago, so I'm sure they've probably only gotten better. Originally, I wasn't sold on the cloth clothing. You can see that his entire suit is stitched up in fabric, and it's made of like a stretchy, almost spandexy like material. And then the bat logo on here is like, I have a tough time telling. It's like a plastic something or other that's stuck on there. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. And then the belt, the utility belt, is like a rubbery thing, and you can actually like take it off. There's a just a peg that goes into a hole in the back. So really cool. Closer look at his face with the gritted teeth and the I'm gonna kick your ass look, or the I hurt myself look. Captures Frank Miller's details very well, I think. Also, here's the alternate head, which is kind of a more just straight face swap out. I like it though. And to swap the heads, it's just on a ball joint. So all you do, pop that one off. It's just a ball peg, so switching the heads is easy. Just pop one off, pop the other one back on. You get a pretty solid range of motion out of it. I mean, side to side, obviously. Good amount of up, down. It's there's a joint inside the neck too, along with the ball peg, so you can actually get some pretty good rotation out of it. The shoulders themselves, in the original pictures, I thought they looked kind of broad and bulky a little bit, but you can tell on a figure this size, it's a little unusual and the proportions might be a little off, but you can work with the posing and get it to work for you. They have like forward and back on the inside of it too. They got like an up and down, so you can raise your shoulder up or push it closer down towards the body. Double jointed elbows, although the glove kind of hinders it a little bit, but not too much. So you're still going to get about 90 degrees out of it, which is good. The fists, we'll go over all the extra hands in a little while, but they hinge, swivel, they pop off, and we'll go over that, like I said. Got a pretty good ab crunch in there. You can see he leans down that far, and he leans back a pretty good amount too. And he's also got a waist twist in there too. As for the legs, they move pretty well. I mean, you can get them straight out in front of him. He's got the double knee joint. The knee kind of looks a little awkward when it's bent, but I mean, that's just because the bulkiness of the leg and because just how the joint itself is. But then when you get to the boot, you got nice hinge, not much of an ankle rocker, and the boot, the whole boot itself has like a thigh swivel, so you can move it like the foot side to side like that too. Now, the cloth costume put a few people off when we first saw the proto pictures of it. People were afraid that it might rip or tear or whatever the case, but as far as I can tell, the stitching is actually going to hold together pretty well. You might have a little bit where it seems like it's going to stretch, like underneath where the armpits are and stuff, because of just the way the ball joints are and how far they move away from the torso. But I don't think you're really going to have too much of a problem with it. And if you look at the back, you can see that the stitching is like up and down the spine too, and it's like really well reinforced on the top. So I don't think you're going to have much problem with tearing or ripping or anything like that. And then the trunks that go over the costume are a separate piece. So that's separate from the gray bodysuit part, so I don't think you'll have any trouble with those either. And as I mentioned before, the utility belt is a rubber piece, and there's a peg, there's a hole in the back of that pocket, and then you just fit that, tuck it under the cape, and you're good to go. You can see the cape is really nice. The corners, like the front two corners, I guess you would call them, have like this little plastic, almost like a rubberized plastic piece, just to kind of weigh it down, give the cape a little bit more, make it look a little more dynamic. Now, there's a lot you can do with the cape. You can drape it over his shoulders, you can do all this kind of stuff, and just basically pose him however you want it. It's lightweight enough where it'll pretty much hold if you put it on his shoulders like that. And plus, like I mentioned earlier, with the shoulders kind of looking a little awkward from certain angles, you can mask that with the cape. Like, you can have the cape rest on him and you wouldn't notice the shoulders as much sticking out. So overall, I think that's really cool. I'm glad that they did that. I wasn't sold on the cloth cape, like I said earlier on, but now that I actually have it in hand and see that it looks good in person, I dig it. So some of the accessories he has is this other extra little utility belt type deal, just some more pouches that goes around the figure's leg. And it removes the same way as the utility belt. It's just got a little peg in there, a little hole. Pop that on his leg, you're good to go. This is from one particular segment in the book where he has this, and so that's why they wanted to replicate that look. He also comes with this sweet rifle. Got a nice scope on it. It's actually pretty nicely detailed. I really like the way this came out. And again, any of you thinking, what's Batman doing with a long-range rifle? Like, why is he sniping out bad guys? Read the book, that's all I can tell you. We get this pretty well-detailed grappling hook, which I think looks awesome. And it's got the string attached to it so you can simulate the rope. It's actually a pretty long one, too. Like, I'd say, I don't know, maybe about an 18-inch rope for him to, you can hang him off of it or whatever you want to do with it. But the grappling hook itself, pretty nicely detailed, I think. It's got just enough metallic paint on it, but it's also like banged up in all the right places and all bent and arced. I dig it. Comes with a lot of extra hands too. Here's his two fists that he has batarangs in, so if you want to simulate where he's about to throw a bunch of batarangs, you can pop these on. Here's two open hands. Pretty self-explanatory. And then lastly, we have a trigger finger and like kind of an open hand for like gripping. That way you can pop the rifle in and have him, aim it or whatever the case. Really cool. Just go over real quick. The hands, they just pop off like that. You're left with a little peg. You just pop the other hand right on and just like that. Good to go. Really easy to switch. Actually, it's probably easier than a lot of the 12-inch figures I have to switch the hands on and off. I think it's because the hands are made of like a softer plastic, but I don't know, whatever the case is, it works great. I really like it. So as far as display options go, you got a few options. Here's the stand, facsimile the logo from the front of the book. You can see there's a peg right there. You can put his foot in there. It's got two peg holes at the bottom, so you can stand him on there just like that if you want him on the shelf. Or he also comes with a flight stand, which is thicker than something you would find in like an SH Monster Arts or like a Figure Arts Dragon Ball Z figure. It's a little more heavy duty, and I think you'll need it because this figure's, he's not very heavy, but he's just bulky. And nice rotation there. Really adjustable stand. Nicely done. As far as I can tell, it goes into the Bat logo base. I think that little piece right there pops out. That's the other side of the peg, because the ring where that would pop out is the same size as the peg that's the bottom of this thing. So I imagine you'd stand that there. I had a hard time messing with it, and I didn't want to like break it, so I wasn't trying to force it or anything. I will say what's cool about this stand though is it comes with this also. You may ask yourself, what is this? Well, this clips right on here, and then these wires are all adjustable. You can see like that. And then each of the wires has a little clip on the end of it, which attaches to the end of his cape. So, ergo, that's stupid. If you have Batman clipped up like that, and you clip his cape to this thing, you're able to make like more dynamic poses with his cape blowing in the background or beside him or whatever you want to do. So, really cool feature. I haven't fully messed with this yet, but I definitely appreciate that they included it, and I'm sure I will be messing with it whenever I get this figure displayed in the way I want. And finally, if you don't want to keep the nice box he comes in, it also comes with this nice little 1/12 collective plastic bag, big enough to fit the figure and probably all of his accessories too. So you could even write Batman right on there if you want. Or you don't have to write Batman, you could write something else and put something else in there. Hell, you could probably even put that steak you've been meaning to eat for a while in here. I'm sure it'll fit. If you're wondering how he scales up with other figures, here's the DC Superheroes Batman figure from a couple of years ago. well, many years ago now. And, you know, you can see that they scale up pretty well. So he fits in well with the DC Universe Classics and DC Superheroes figures. Speaking of, here's the Dark Knight Returns version of Batman, which is on a Masters of the Universe Classics body, but they put it in a part of the Batman Legacy line, or one of those, which ties in with DC UC. And you can see he scales up pretty well against him, too. By the way, in case anyone's wondering, that's why I got the blue and yellow version instead of the black and gray version of this one, because well, first of all, I really like the way this looks, and secondly, I already had this figure, so I didn't need to get another black and gray Dark Knight Batman. No, I just didn't need it. So if you're worried about whether he scales in with the rest of your DC figures that you've got, worry no more. He fits in well, and I think he's a great addition to the collection. So overall, if you couldn't tell, my final thought on this figure is that you should probably buy it. A few things you should know. This is the Previews exclusive version. The standard version is black and gray and has the costume from the second half of the book and kind of the more contemporary Batman costume. There's differences in the accessories. I'm not entirely positive what they are because I only have this version. Also, it's going to run you some money. It's not a cheap figure. This one, after shipping, I got it from Big Bad Toy Store for about like 75 bucks. You can get it on Amazon, I think, for cheaper because of the free shipping. So my advice to you is to do it that way. Unless Big Bad Toy Store wants to send me free stuff, in which case, then buy it from them. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, overall, awesome figure. If you're a fan of the Dark Knight Returns graphic novel, or the movie that came out a couple of years ago, or 2 years ago, whatever it might be now, I think you'll really enjoy it. All right, this has been Captain McKay. Wholeheartedly endorse this figure. As far as I'm concerned, figure of the year contender for 2015, and it's only the beginning of April, so hopefully I see more stuff like this come out of Mezco. I would really love to see like a Superman in this style, or an armored Batman from the end of the book. We'll see. I know they got a Judge Dredd coming at some point, so we'll see. Anyway, take care. Hope you enjoyed the review. We'll see you later.
That's crispy.